For 1,000 years, the galaxy stayed quiet. There were still arguments. There were still small fights. But no great war ever came again. The old empires signed treaties. The border lines stayed stable. Trade ships moved freely. Even pirates became rare, because every big system had patrol fleets. The reason was simple. A truce was made. Long ago, the galaxy almost burned. Millions died. Whole moons were broken. The war ended only when the strongest powers agreed to stop. The treaty was sealed with fear and pain. Everyone promised, no more total war. And for 1,000 years, it worked. Most species believed peace was the new future. But humans believed something else. Humans did not trust peace. They lived in a small part of the galaxy, far from the grand capitals. They were young compared to others. Many alien races laughed when they heard human history. Humans fought each other for thousands of years on a single planet. Humans built weapons before they even reached the stars. So aliens called them dangerous children. But after humans joined the truce, they changed. They became silent. They traded. They built cities in space. They smiled in meetings. They acted calm. They spoke politely. They did not threaten anyone. They did not try to expand too fast. Aliens started to believe humans had finally grown up. Some even called them soft. Then the message arrived. It came from the Varkal Dominion, an old empire made of iron discipline and pride. They were strong, violent, and very hungry for power. They hated the truce. They believed peace was weakness. Their leader, High Warlord Dreek, sent a broadcast to every system. The video showed him standing in black armor, surrounded by war flags. His voice was deep and cold. "Enough," he said. 1,000 years of silence is over. The truce is dead. The galaxy belongs to the strong, not the weak. We will take what is ours. Behind him, fleets filled the space like a storm. Thousands of ships. Heavy cannons. Burning engines. Then he said the words that changed everything. Humans are first. A wave of shock spread across the galaxy. Humans were not the biggest power. They were not the richest. They were not the oldest race. But everyone knew humans had something unusual. Something hard to understand. They had no fear in their eyes. The Varkal Dominion wanted to crush that. To prove that humans were just another small species who could be forced to kneel. In many star systems, alien leaders panicked. They called emergency councils. They demanded the old empires react. They begged for unity. But the old empires argued. Some wanted war. Some wanted diplomacy. Some wanted to hide and wait. The galaxy became loud again. Only humans stayed quiet. The Varkal fleet entered the first human border zone. They destroyed a human patrol station like it was nothing. They sent the explosion to the galactic news channels. They wanted humans to feel shame. Varkal soldiers laughed. They said humans would cry. They said humans would beg the galaxy for help. Then the human response arrived. Not a threat. Not a warning. Not anger. It was a single video. A human commander sat in a simple chair. No armor. No flags. No loud music. Behind him, only a dark wall with a small symbol of Earth. His face was calm. He looked into the camera like he was speaking to children. And then, he smiled. The entire Galactic Council watched live. The human commander started to laugh. Soft at first. Then louder. Not crazy. Not emotional. It was controlled laughter. It made the room cold. Alien leaders stared in confusion. Even the Varkal warlord froze. When the laughter stopped, the human commander leaned forward. His voice was gentle. "High Warlord Dreek," he said, "thank you." The galaxy could not breathe. "Thank you," the human continued, "for ending the truce. We were tired of waiting." The Varkal leader shouted in anger, but the human commander raised one hand like a teacher stopping noise. "You think peace made us weak," the human said. "Peace made us prepared." Then he looked directly at the Varkal leader and spoke the last line. "You declared war," he said. "So now, we can finally do what we built for." The video ended. No more words. No more messages. For the first time in 1,000 years, silence returned. But this time, it was not peaceful silence. It was the silence before a storm. Far beyond the human border, deep in empty space, hidden stations turned on. Dark satellites opened their eyes. Old hangars unlocked. Giant doors moved for the first time in centuries. Something massive began to rise. Varkal scanners suddenly picked up strange signals. Unknown engines. Unknown metal. Ships that did not match any human design ever seen. The Varkal officers felt fear, but they refused to show it. "Impossible," one whispered. "Humans don't have this level of power." Then a new signal entered their communication system. A simple human voice. Cold. Clear. "Welcome," it said, "to the hunting zone." The Varkal Dominion did not wait. High Warlord Dreek saw the human laughter as an insult. To him, it was not bravery. It was disrespect. And the Dominion was built on one rule: respect is taken by force. So Dreek ordered a full advance. Within hours, the Varkal war fleets moved like a black river into human space. Thousands of ships crossed the border lines. Their engines burned red. Their war drums echoed through open channels, meant to scare every world that listened. They wanted humans to panic. But the human border stayed quiet. No massive defense wall appeared. No warning fleets. No desperate calls for help. Only silence. That made the Varkal officers laugh again. "Humans are bluffing," one captain said. Their commander laughed because he had nothing else. Another replied, "Good. Let them laugh. It will be the last sound their species makes." The first human colony system they reached was called Eos Gate. It was a small place. A few mining stations. A simple trade hub. No heavy weapons. No large fleet. The Varkal did not even slow down. They fired one warning shot that turned a human station into glowing dust. They sent the footage across the galaxy. They wanted other species to see what happens when a truce is broken. In the Galactic Council chambers, leaders watched the destruction with horror. Many expected humans to surrender now. To beg for negotiations. But the only human message was a calm broadcast from Earth. A human diplomat stood in front of a simple flag and said only one sentence. "We acknowledge your actions." That was all. No emotion. No threat. No pleading. This made alien leaders even more uneasy. Some thought humans had lost their minds. Others believed humans were hiding their real fleet and waiting for the right moment. But Dreek did not care. He pushed deeper. He wanted Earth itself. He wanted to stand above their home planet and watch humans finally break. The Varkal fleet entered the next sector. And then something strange happened. Their long-range scanners began to fail. At first, it was small. A few ships reported weak signals. Their maps looked blurred. Their navigation tools needed resets. The Varkal engineers blamed human electronic tricks. Then it got worse. The stars on their screens were wrong. The map points moved slightly, like someone was bending space. The fleet's perfect formation began to shake as ships struggled to stay on course. They opened secure channels to command. High Warlord, the system is unstable, said a nervous officer. We recommend pulling back and regrouping. Dreek's voice came like thunder. Advance, he ordered. Do not fear shadows. So they advanced. Hours later, they reached an empty region of space marked on old maps as Sector 9. It was known as Dead Space. No planets. No trade routes. No valuable resources. Just darkness. The Varkal fleet entered it like wolves walking into a silent forest. That was when the first ship disappeared. A destroyer at the edge of formation blinked off the screen. No explosion. No debris. No sound. It was simply gone. The captain of the nearby cruiser shouted, "Where did it go?" The scanners showed nothing. A second later, a second ship vanished. Then a third. Now fear crawled into their bones. The Varkal fleet tightened formation, weapons ready, cannons charging. Their crews stared at the black outside their windows, as if something invisible was watching them. Then the communications died. Not fully. But all channels filled with static, like old broken radios. The fleet tried to send emergency signals back to Dreek's flagship. Nothing reached. The Varkal were blind and alone. In the silent darkness, their strongest ship suddenly felt small. Then, a new sound came through the static. A human voice. Clear. Cold. Too close. It spoke inside their system like it was already in their ship. Do not panic, the voice said. The Varkal officers froze. How is that possible? One whispered. The human voice continued, calm and almost polite. This zone is private, it said. You were warned. A Varkal captain shouted, "Show yourself, coward." The reply came instantly. We are not hiding, the human voice said. You simply cannot see us. Then a dim light appeared outside the fleet. Not stars. Not engines. A soft blue glow, like an eye opening in the dark. Then another. Then dozens. Then hundreds. All around them. Every direction. The Varkal fleet was surrounded. And only now did they realize the truth. Humans did not build a wall at their borders. They built a trap. A hunting field. A place where enemies enter. But do not leave. The human voice spoke one last time, colder than space itself. Welcome, it said, to the part where humans stop smiling. Hashtag white heavy checkmark part 3, the laugh was a warning. The Varkal Dominion fleet was trapped in Sector 9. Every screen showed the same nightmare, blue lights in all directions, like silent stars that were not supposed to exist. The lights did not move fast. They did not rush. They simply stayed there, steady and calm, as if time belonged to them. Varkal officers shouted orders. Cannons turned. Missiles armed. Fighters prepared to launch. But nobody could lock on. Their targeting systems could not catch the source of the lights. When they aimed, the signals slipped away like smoke. It felt unreal, like fighting shadows. High Warlord Dreek stood inside his flagship command room, staring at the reports. His jaw tightened. His claws gripped the command rail so hard the metal bent. They are using tricks, he growled. Humans are afraid to face us. But even he could hear the fear in the voices around him. Then the silence broke. One of the blue lights became brighter. It moved forward slowly, and the Varkal scanners screamed. Not because the ship was speeding, because the ship's mass was impossible. The numbers did not make sense. The machine readings jumped, crashed, and restarted. It was like the system itself refused to accept what it was seeing. A Varkal officer whispered, "That's not a ship, that's a moving fortress." The human vessel appeared fully. It was huge. Smooth. Dark like a piece of night cut into shape. No bright windows. No visible weapons. Only one glowing line across its body, like a calm heartbeat. It did not look like something built for war. It looked like something built to end war. The Varkal fleet fired. Thousands of shots lit the darkness. Plasma storms. Laser spears. Heavy cannons. Enough power to burn a planet's surface. The shots hit the human ship. And nothing happened. No shields flared. No damage marks. The human ship did not even move. It stayed there like a mountain in space. For the first time, the Varkal Dominion felt what their enemies usually felt. Hopelessness. One Varkal captain screamed, "Fire again." They fired again. Still nothing. Then the human ship responded. It did not send missiles. It did not use normal cannons. Instead, a silent wave spread from its front. No light. No sound. Just a ripple in space, like reality was being pushed aside. The wave touched the nearest Varkal cruiser. And the cruiser simply folded. Not exploded. Not burned. It collapsed inward like a crushed piece of paper. In 1 second, a ship with 10,000 soldiers became a small, spinning piece of metal. Then it was gone. Varkal officers stared in horror. "What weapon is that?" one yelled. No one answered. The human ship did not chase the fleet. It did not roar with pride. It only waited, as if it was giving them time to understand. And then a message came through. Every Varkal screen turned black. White letters appeared, calm and simple. "We did not forget." Some Varkal soldiers laughed nervously, trying to hide fear. "What are they talking about?" a pilot asked. Then another message appeared. A short video. It showed human faces, old humans, young humans, soldiers, workers, families. It showed ruined cities. Burning skies. Dead worlds. Then came a sentence. 1,000 years ago, you attacked our colonies in secret." The Varkal officers froze. That was impossible. The Dominion had denied those old operations. They were hidden. No proof. No records. The message continued. "You killed civilians and called it an accident." Images appeared. Human children in emergency shelters. Colonies destroyed. Names on stone walls. The Varkal command room became silent. Because the humans were telling the truth. The Dominion had committed crimes long ago, before the truce. They expected history to cover it. They expected humans to move on. But humans never moved on. Humans saved pain like a weapon. Then the screen changed again. A human commander appeared, different from the diplomat. This one wore simple black armor. His eyes were calm like winter. He spoke slowly, with no anger. "High Warlord Dreek," he said. "You think we laughed because we were weak." He leaned closer to the camera. "We laughed because you didn't understand what peace meant to us." He raised his hand, and behind him a wall opened, revealing something massive, rows of dark ships, sleeping like monsters. Peace, he continued, was not forgiveness. Peace was preparation. The Varkal fleet tried to pull back. But Sector 9 was no longer normal space. Invisible walls pushed against them. Their engines failed. Every escape path led them deeper into the trap. Outside, more human ships appeared, now visible, their blue eyes glowing. The human commander spoke again, voice colder. "You came to conquer humans," he said. "But you entered human territory." He paused. "And humans do not defend like you do." His final words hit like a knife. "We hunt." The signal ended. At that moment, the Varkal Dominion realized the truth. The truce was never safety. It was a leash. And humans had just taken it off. In the black silence of Sector 9, the human ships began to move. Not like an army. Like predators. The first thing the Varkal Dominion noticed was the fear. Not fear of death. Varkal warriors were trained to die. They were raised on harsh worlds and taught that pain was honor. Even now, surrounded by human ships, many of them prepared to fight until their last breath. But this fear was different. This fear was about being helpless. Human warships did not move like normal fleets. They did not stay in perfect formation. They did not fight with loud commands and bright explosions. They drifted silently, changing position without warning, appearing close, then far, then everywhere at once. The blue glow on their hulls pulsed slowly, like calm breathing. The Varkal fleet fired again. More plasma. More missiles. More desperate power. It was like throwing rocks at the ocean. The human ships did not fall. Instead, the trap tightened. Space itself began to feel heavy. Varkal pilots reported that turning their ships felt like moving through thick water. Engines pushed harder, but gained nothing. Their navigation systems showed impossible angles, like their fleet was trapped inside a bending tunnel. Then the humans started the real war. No speech. No warning. One human ship moved near a Varkal carrier. Its surface opened like a silent mouth, and a beam of pale light touched the carrier's engines. The engines died instantly. Not damaged. Not burning. Simply off. The carrier became a floating coffin. Varkal fighters tried to launch from it, but their bays froze. Their power systems shut down one by one, like someone was turning off switches. Another human ship passed by a Varkal battleship and sent out a wave. The battleship's weapons stopped working. Its shields dropped. Its lights went dark. Varkal commanders screamed. How are they doing this? They're hacking us. They're using forbidden technology. But it was worse than hacking. It was control. Humans were not destroying them quickly. Humans were disarming them. Like a hunter cutting the claws from a beast before killing it. High Warlord Dreek realized the danger. He opened emergency channels, his voice full of rage. Ignore fear, he roared. Ram them. Get close. Board them. So the Varkal tried. The remaining ships pushed forward, aiming to collide with human vessels. Their soldiers prepared boarding squads, ready to fight with blades and claws. But every time a Varkal ship rushed, the human ship shifted away, without speed. It was like the human ship was stepping aside. Then the rushing Varkal ship would slam into invisible force and stop, shaking violently, its hull groaning like a dying animal. One Varkal cruiser finally made it close enough to fire at point blank. The captain shouted, "Now!" They fired. The human ship tilted slightly. The shots missed. The human ship did not even turn fully toward them. It almost felt like the humans were bored. Then the human ship fired a single silent pulse. The Varkal cruiser shattered into clean pieces, sliced so perfectly that it looked like it was cut by a giant invisible knife. The Varkal fleet broke into panic. Some ships tried to escape. Others tried to hide behind dead ships. Many stopped firing, unsure if resistance even mattered. And that was the moment humans wanted. Because humans were not only fighting in space. They were fighting in the Varkal mind. A new broadcast hit the entire galaxy. Every council screen. Every public station. Every government network. Humans had taken control of galactic communication systems like they were opening a door. The broadcast showed Sector 9 from above, like a god's view. Varkal ships floating powerless. Human ships surrounding them like dark angels. A human voice spoke, calm and clear. "This is what the truce meant," the voice said. "We held back for 1,000 years. We let you believe we were harmless. We let you believe the galaxy was safe. A pause. Now watch what happens when humans stop holding back. Alien worlds watched with open mouths. Many species had feared the Varkal Dominion for centuries. They believed the Dominion could never be stopped. But humans were stopping them without even raising their voice. Then came the cruelest part. Humans did not finish the fleet immediately. They left a path open, a narrow corridor of space that looked like an escape route. The Varkal noticed it and rushed toward it. The moment they entered, the corridor lit up. Human ships appeared inside it, hidden until the last second. The escape route was another trap. One by one, Varkal ships were cut down, disabled, captured, or erased from existence. High Warlord Dreek screamed in fury and fear. "This is not war," he shouted. "This is slaughter." A human message appeared on his private screen. 2 words only. "You started." Outside the flagship window, a human ship approached Dreek's command vessel. Bigger than the rest. Darker than night. And for the first time, it turned its nose directly toward him. Like an executioner finally looking at the prisoner. The flagship speakers activated. A human voice spoke, low and cold. "High Warlord Dreek," it said. "You wanted humans to kneel." A pause. "Now you will learn something the galaxy forgot. You are not fighting an empire. You are fighting a species." The Varkal flagship began to lose power. Lights shut down across its halls. Shields failed. Weapons went silent. Dreek stood frozen as darkness swallowed his ship. And in that darkness, humans moved closer. High Warlord Dreek did not sleep. He stood in the darkness of his flagship command chamber as emergency lights flickered like dying stars. The proud golden screens of the Dominion were gone. Only weak red lines remained, flashing warnings that nobody could fix. Engines, offline. Weapons, offline. Shields, offline. Communications, under foreign control. The Varkal Dominion, an empire feared for centuries, had become a silent metal body floating in space. And outside the main viewing window, the human ship waited. It was close now, so close that the Varkal could see its surface. It looked smooth, almost like stone, but it shimmered with strange patterns that moved slowly across the hull. It felt less like a machine and more like a living thing. Dreek's officers gathered behind him. Some had dropped their weapons. Others still held rifles, shaking. A few whispered prayers in Old War tongues. Dreek turned his head slightly and spoke, voice hard. "Warriors of the Dominion," he said, "prepare for boarding. We will take at least one human ship with us." No one replied with the old proud shout. They were too afraid. Because they could feel it now, humans were not just stronger. Humans were in control. A sudden sound filled the flagship. Not an alarm. Not a warning. A calm tone, as if someone politely rang a bell. Then the central screen lit up. A human face appeared. Not the same commander as before. This one looked older. His hair was gray. His eyes were tired, like he had seen too much. But his gaze was steady, cold, and sharp. He spoke in simple English, slow and clear. "High Warlord Dreek," he said. "I am Admiral Kane of the Terran Fleet." Dreek lifted his chin. "I do not speak to weak species," Dreek spat. "I speak only to equals." Admiral Kane gave a small smile. "Then you should be happy," he replied. "Because today you finally met one." The Varkal officers behind Dreek growled, but Kane raised one finger. "Do not waste your anger," Kane said. "You already lost. I am not here to insult you." Dreek's claws tightened. "Then why are you here?" he demanded. Kane leaned forward slightly. "Because you crossed the line," he said. "You broke the truce. You attacked civilians. You came into our space and tried to make a show. He paused. And you thought humans would fear you. The Admiral's eyes became colder. The galaxy forgot something, Kane continued. Peace does not change human nature. Peace only gives humans time. Drake laughed bitterly. So you prepared for war for 1,000 years, he sneered. What kind of species does that? Kane's answer came instantly. The kind that remembers, he said. The screen changed. A new view appeared, Sector 9 from far away. The Varkle fleet was no longer a fleet. It was broken pieces, dead hulls, frozen ships, captured carriers. Human ships moved between them like shadow hunters collecting trophies. The Admiral spoke again. This is the end of your invasion, he said. Your warships are finished. Drake bared his teeth. You will kill us all, he said. Like animals. Kane's face did not change. No, he replied. We are not you. Drake froze. Kane continued, calm and sharp. We will not burn your worlds. We will not slaughter your civilians. We will not destroy your species. Because this is not revenge. This is correction. The word hit the Varkle like a weapon. Correction. Like they were a mistake that needed fixing. Kane lifted his hand. In the next 5 minutes, he said, every Varkle ship will receive a route to leave human space. Drake's eyes widened. A trap, he hissed. Another trap. Kane nodded slowly. Yes, he said. A trap. For your pride. Drake stared, confused. Kane spoke the final condition. You will leave, he said. You will return home. You will tell your empire what happened. You will show the galaxy the truth. And then, he added, you will stand down. Forever. Drake growled. And if we refuse? Kane looked at him with no emotion. Then you will not return, he said. Outside the flagship window, the human warship moved slightly closer. The Varkle could feel the pressure in the air, as if reality itself was tightening around them. Drake's voice lowered. You think this ends the war? He asked. Kane answered quietly. This ends your war, he said. Then the Admiral's face softened for the first time. It was a strange expression, almost sad. We wanted peace, Kane said. For 1,000 years, we respected the truce. He paused. But you wanted power more than peace. The human admiral leaned back, and for the first time, Drake understood the human laughter. It was not joy. It was not madness. It was something far worse. It was certainty. Kane's last words came through the speakers like a final judgment. You declared war after 1,000 years, he said. And humans only laughed. Because we already knew how it would end. The screen went black. Lights returned to the Varkle flagship slowly, like a leash being loosened. Engines restarted, but under human control. A route appeared on the navigation screen, glowing bright. A single way out. Drake stared at it, his empire broken. Outside, human ships watched in silent formation. Not celebrating. Not cheering. Just watching, like hunters letting prey run, so the whole forest learns fear. And across the galaxy, billions saw the message. The truce was over. And the new rule was clear. Humans do not beg for peace. Humans enforce it.